The Pursuit of More Faith, number 3. Okay, so the title of this series, The Pursuit of More Faith, it comes partially from The Pursuit of Happiness from the Declaration of Independence, a very much instilled value in myself and most Americans. The pursuit of happiness, a right that we believe all Americans and all humans have, whether they fully have it or not, should have, is the right to pursue your happiness as long as it doesn't negatively affect other people, of course. So in America, that's the freedom to pursue the career that you want instead of being casted, pigeonholed in only one career. Oh, your father did this, therefore that's your only option. Or your parents practice this religion, therefore that's your only option. No, you and I have the right, the freedom to pursue our own happiness, however that looks. So my title, The Pursuit of More Faith, in part comes from this American ideal of the pursuit of happiness. The more faith part of my title, The Pursuit of More Faith, comes because I already do have some faith, but I want more faith. It's often said that men want more of everything. What do men want? Just more. More of what? More of everything. I do want more faith. I want to be more rock solid, more steadfast in my faith. Maybe this is a paradox because that's from what I hear, from what a very wise church leader would tell me, they might tell me that's kind of a paradox, Aaron, because the purpose of faith is to believe and trust in God, in a more positive existence, in a positive reality, even though you don't have concrete evidence, even though you don't get to see and touch God the way that I think we all would like to, or at least have wished we could have at some point in our lives. So maybe it is a paradox, but I'm still pursuing that. It's kind of like the paradox of this is something that I'll pursue and bring bring my learnings to in a future episode on this faith series, and that's this: prayer. Have you ever thought about the paradox of prayer? It's kind of like, so God has his plan, right? And he's all powerful. So there's the saying, man makes plans and then God laughs. And that's because he is more powerful. He has his plans. What can a human do when God has his more powerful plans? So there's another possible paradox. Sometimes I think, well, what could my prayer do? I'm just a human. God's plan is going to unfold. My little human non powers are not going to have any effect. But then on the other time, it makes, on the other hand, it makes sense to me when people say, of course you should pray. Like, of course you should try to connect with God as much as you can. Put as much of your attention, undivided attention, undistracted attention towards God in prayer. So, whether I'm going to describe it as paradoxes or very delicate balances, this is probably going to be a reoccurring theme that comes up in my series, The Pursuit of More Faith. Okay, so you guys know how I got the title of this series on faith. You guys know a little bit about my thoughts on the paradoxes and delicate balances that we are often holding at the same time. And the last thing I'm going to share in this episode on faith is reconnecting to what I've said in episode 1 and 2 on faith. In episode 1, I shared that I like the definition on a trust and reliance on something else. And the inference is, even though there's so much bad, even though there are so many negative things that happen on a daily basis, even though there are so many undeservingly bad things that happen to people on a daily basis, can I still believe in a God, in a positive afterlife? can you, even though you've had bad things happen to you and you know far worse things happen to other people every day, can you still have an overall positive outlook? So that's what faith is. That's part of what faith is to me. It's faith doesn't say, oh, I live in a perfect world and nobody experiences pain. It's maybe the best explanation is like, it's not always easy to believe the religious explanations, but I have found it harder to believe other so-called explanations. Like, again, I'll come back to this in a later episode and say this clearer, but maybe you guys have heard this, the Big Bang. Like scientists want us to think, like, as long as we, like, well, what caused the Big Bang? Like, scientists want us to see how everything makes sense after the Big Bang, but they cannot explain the Big Bang. So I'll tie this together here. Sometimes the injustices of this world are so overwhelming, overwhelmingly hard to accept. How could some people and some circumstances be so undeservedly misfortunate? How could that be possible? How could some people be so unlucky and there be so much pain in the world if God loves us? Sometimes it is that thought that makes me think, that does increase my faith, that does make me think there must be an afterlife where these things get explained later on in a way that the human condition cannot experience, in a way that the human condition cannot comprehend. It makes me think that because you and I, we all have this sense of justification. We all have this sense of like right and wrong. And we know that other people are like, whenever, like, we might want to say, woe is me, and my situation is so bad and I'm treated unfairly. But if we choose to become more conscientious, we know that a lot of people are randomly born with far worse circumstances. And I think, how could some people be so unlucky? Like, there has to be some kind of justice in the end. There has to be something that makes this right in the end. It makes me think of how some religions that believe in reincarnation, like maybe I am going to live that life that I consider to be more misfortunate to me. Maybe I am going to live that life that I consider to be more fortunate than me. Maybe. Or maybe there's an afterlife that justifies it altogether. Okay, so now here's really the last thing I'll share in this episode on the pursuit of more faith, and that's this. I once had a dream. I won't call it a nightmare. It wasn't that, but there weren't monsters, and I wasn't dying, but it also wasn't a pleasant dream. It was a negative dream. It was a bad dream. And in this dream, I remember I was such a weird dream. I was having dinner. We were at a table, maybe there was 10 of us, and I spilled my drink and food on myself. And so I went to the bathroom to go clean up. And when I was cleaning up, I kept making it worse and worse. And I was spreading the mess. And I was just like, now my clothes are completely ruined. So in my mind, in that bad dream, it was getting worse and worse. And it was going on forever because while I was trying to make it better, I was making the situation worse and worse. And then I had to finally leave the bathroom and go back out where I was visible to the other people. And I received their negative judgment, their negative looks, and this bad dream was continuing. And then I woke up. And when I woke up, I think a lot of you have had this feeling after a bad dream too. It's amazing, right? It's like, whoa, just a few seconds ago, I was in that moment. I didn't know it was a dream. I didn't know it was just a bad dream. When I was in there making the mess I spilled on myself worse, I thought that was real life. I was feeling horrible and thought there was going to be life consequences because of that bad situation. But then when I woke up and it wasn't dinner time, I wasn't at a table with 10 people. I was in my room, in my bed, and it was the morning. Like, oh, it's okay. I have that negative memory, but it didn't really happen. So it really wasn't negative. Is that what life is? Is that what it's going to be when we pass away? This is something that gives me comfort as a way to try to understand what this world is and to try to connect it to what I hope the afterlife is and what I do think it is more than anything else. I don't pretend to have 100% solid belief. I never have doubts, but I am here in the pursuit of more faith.
The main purpose behind that video is to educate other students that everyone has their own way. Okay. But just go like stick with someone. Believe me, like the templates, maybe some people will get the 26 using templates, but it's not because they use the strict template, the templates as it is. It's because they had their own, they developed their own fluency that could overcome the structure of that template.
A person that you can see and hear, the speaking templates are wrong. Because to get 26 on speak, and when you see somebody who did get 26 on speaking or above, and they tell you they use the speaking template, they did not get 26 on TOEFL IBT speaking because of the speaking template. No, they got 26 on TOEFL IBT speaking in spite of the limiting nature of the speaking template. They got 26 on TOEFL IBT speaking because their speaking fluency was so good, is so good, that it was able to overcome the limiting structure that is speaking templates.
I never got 26 using AI website.
Okay, but you did on the real test after meetings with me.
Yeah.
If you want to see more videos with people giving you their best advice on how they got their 26 on TOEFL IBT speaking, you can watch that YouTube playlist. It's connected to this video, and you can find it by searching for TOEFL IBT Speaking 26. You can also find it by going through speaking26.com. These are people who before were not getting 26 on TOEFL speaking and after did get 26 and pass their tests. I asked them, hey, can you give your best advice to people who are still taking the test? How did you go from not passing to passing?
When I read about the TOEFL exam, I didn't really think much of it. I just thought, okay, straightforward thing. It's an English exam. How difficult can it be?
The pharmacy board needs specifically 26 in speaking.
I used to change the template. Maybe this is more advanced, so I will use this the next exam, and I try to practice this for maybe a month or two to be able to master it, to say it without thinking. Every time I found myself getting maybe less score or the same score. It doesn't make any difference to just change the templates and use different introductory words. It didn't make any difference for me. Some of my friends advised me to start taking sessions with you.
This helped me in passing my TOEFL exam. Erin helped me to pass and get 26.
Erin, actually, any words will not be enough. But really, I'm very thankful.
26 in speaking, and I finally got it, and I'm so excited to get to the next step in my pharmacist license.
Look at my accent, look at people who got 26. So just surround yourself with people who motivate you.
Look, I passed. That bit that's missing is probably the most important bit to get you to 26.
Yes.
And that's the bit where Aaron, I felt, helped me realize where I was going wrong. And that That bit where I was going wrong, I think it goes for everyone. It doesn't matter whether you speak English is your first language or not. That bit that was missing is something everyone really needs to understand in order to get that 26.
Once you are in the level that you need to become advanced in order to get the 26, you need to get rid of the templates.
Template will hinder your ability to deliver the question, because it shows that you are reading something, or you are not speaking, you are reading.
I was using completely different template or different way. I started to apply your way, and once I started to practice your way, oh, it's easy for me.
That was really good for me. It really helps me, because with this in my mind, I could speak faster, and because I was confident.
It's challenging, but you know, after you pass it, the feeling of victory, it's worth it.
As English is my first language, I thought the speaking templates would be enough to get me the 26 that I needed. Unfortunately, it wasn't, and I only scored a 23. Your lack of getting 26 is not due to your speaking ability. It has been due to your less than optimal strategy. Get rid of the training wheels.
The templates were like, oh my God, why did they create those templates?
Aaron, you are a big helpful for students like us. We need somebody to like stir revolution in our heart inside, give life to our conversation. And this will never happen through other sites, like they have exact traditional pattern, the template, first, second, for example. Don't say, for example, the second time, for instance. Really? And like robot, I felt myself without life. I don't have the freedom to speak.
You don't have to worry that much about how can I mention 2 reasons with 2 details or 2 examples. It's too much for me. You help students to increase their fluency.
Instead of following that speaking template or any other speaking template, trust your fluency.
For the students who are taking with you, trust this guy. He's amazing. He will shift or improve your level as soon as possible.
Like just jump my score from 23 to 26, like this. How many hours I took with you? 5. Look at this. 5 hours in 2 weeks. I passed my test.
I was surprised that I passed after 5 sessions together.
I hope you keep inspiring and helping more pharmacists and more other students to achieve their goal and become a professional here in the United States.
If I had just, found you earlier.
For people who's really, they have concern and they need to do it very fast, go to the original, the source of help.
Go to Aaron. He's the guy. He was the guy for me. And hopefully he's the guy for you. And he'll set you straight. He'll tell you what you need to do to get that 26